Long before the myths of peaceful, wise guardians took hold, the dragons of the West lived very differently. They hoarded treasure they couldn't use and fought over territory out of pure instinct. Over centuries, they had traded their natural inner calm for greed and aggression. The human villages nestled in the valleys below mirrored this darkness. People lived in constant friction, plagued by their localized versions of noise, bullying, and a deep fear of each other. The turning point arrived with the birth of a dragon named Zorin. Zorin did not roar, and he had no interest in hoarding jewels. Instead of a destructive, outward fire, the young dragon possessed a quiet, glowing warmth deep inside his chest. The dragon elders were terrified of a creature who valued kindness over combat. They banished Zorin, forcing him to flee east under a moonless sky. But he didn't fly alone. A small band of peaceful dragons chose to follow him. The elders kept their hoards of gold and gems, but they remained trapped in their anger. The exiled dragons left with nothing, yet they carried away the actual treasure, the quiet, internal warmth that would soon reshape how humans understood their own minds. High in the mountains of Tibet, a group of human children from the struggling villages below stumbled upon the dragon's cave. They approached the entrance bracing for a fight, fully expecting to find monsters. Instead of terrifying beasts, they found radiant masters. The massive creatures simply sat in absolute stillness, wrapped in profound peace. Zorin looked at the children and offered a starting point for their journey. He whispered that their true nature was as vast as the stars, telling them, "You are the universe, you just don't know it yet." That single encounter in the mountains birthed an entirely new lineage. Humanity finally had teachers who would show them how to stop fighting the world outside and start looking at the world within. The children quickly learned that their thoughts jumped from chores to past arguments, never resting. The dragons explained that this monkey mind controls you unless you train it, and the only leash strong enough to hold it is the breath. This animation shows a chaotic, bouncing shape, much like our unchecked thoughts. The dragons compared this to a genie demanding a new wish every second, driving its master to exhaustion. The only way to calm the genie is to assign it one repetitive task, climbing up and down a wooden log. By returning your focus to the simple inhale and exhale, the mind gradually settles into a smooth, steady rhythm. Once the mind stops racing, a new sensation emerges. The dragons call this the hidden jewel, a state of calm, untroubled awareness, located entirely beneath the noise of daily life. This isn't an optional exercise. Mastering the mind is the mandatory first step on this path. Without the ability to sit quietly and focus, the deeper emotional awakening that follows is impossible. With their minds steady, the children were introduced to Tummo. Rather than a weapon to burn enemies, Tummo is an inner fire of awareness, a heat generated by pure attention that melts away internal fears. Guest teachers expanded the curriculum, teaching the children to treat their minds like an internal garden. By planting seeds of kindness and joy, the children discovered that what they gave to others naturally grew within themselves, revealing the golden rule as a practical law of cause and effect. Look at this diagram of a dark, jagged shape interacting with a golden circle. The dragons taught that this darkness represents the shadow, the parts of ourselves that feel angry, small, or unworthy. When you feel that darkness, the instinct is to push it away. But as the golden circle expands, it doesn't fight the jagged edges, it simply envelops them. By paying gentle, steady attention to your own fears, the light of your awareness absorbs it, transforming your deepest insecurities into a source of enduring strength. A truly open heart never wastes energy trying to destroy the darkness. It simply shines light on broken pieces until they integrate into the whole. As summer peaked, Zorin gathered the children for the final revelation. They had learned how to behave, how to breathe, and how to forgive. Now they needed to understand the actual nature of reality. Zorin explained the first part of the great secret, identity. You are not your passing thoughts, your daily fears, or your past mistakes. Those are just clouds. You are the sun hiding directly behind them. This diagram illustrates the second part of the secret, unity. We look around and see many people living entirely separate lives, but if you trace the light down past those individual lanterns, you find that every single one is burning from the exact same fire. Which leads to the third and final part, reality. If we all share the exact same light, then the sun is dreaming the world. We are simultaneously the dreamer and the dream. This realization is the absolute pinnacle of the dragon's path. The children stopped seeing themselves as isolated villagers fighting a hostile world and recognized their profound mechanical unity with everything around them. With the teachings complete, Zoran gave the children one final, difficult instruction. They had to leave the safety of the cave and return to the valley below. It is easy to feel peaceful when you are sitting quietly on a mountain surrounded by enlightened dragons. It is incredibly difficult to maintain that peace in a noisy, flawed village full of ordinary problems. The children walked down the mountain path, carrying their new awareness into a village that hadn't changed at all. The farmers were still stressed, the neighbors were still arguing, and the town was still driven by fear. Almost immediately, a skeptical villager blocked their path. Seeing the serene looks on the children's faces, the man stepped forward, aggressively demanding to know where they had been and what they were doing. This hostility serves as the children's rocky soil, the specific resistance needed to ground their new understanding. Confronted with a real-world threat, they have to decide if their inner peace is a theory or a reality. The children didn't argue, defend themselves, or run away. They simply took a breath, stood their ground in perfect peace, and allowed their inner sun to shine. Faced with absolute non-reactive calm, the villagers' anger hit a wall. The quiet radiance of the children naturally diffused the hostility in the air, proving that an open heart is a highly practical tool in the real world. The children find their ultimate purpose as bridges between worlds. By taking the silence of the cave into the noise of the village, they prove that realizing our shared connection is only the beginning. The true work is actively choosing to be the light in a world that has forgotten how to shine.